At our next DNC meeting in August, we will vote to elect 75 at-large DNC members and ratify Chair Martin's appointments to the standing committees. Today's elections and the Youth Council will help finalize the full proposed slate for the meeting. So here's how that process works. In May, Chair Martin released a partial slate of 60 at-large DNC member nominees and his initial appointments to the standing committees. To fill out the remainder of the slates, the regional caucuses will each elect two at-large DNC members, along with two individuals to serve on each of credentials, resolutions, and the Rules and Bylaws Committee. The AAPI, Black, Disability, Hispanic, LGBTQ, and Native American caucuses, along with us, the Youth Council, will each get to elect one at-large DNC member. The constituency caucuses and the Youth Council will also elect one individual to each of three standing committees. The candidates that you select today will be added to Chair Martin's slates for consideration and ratification by the full DNC in August. This process is historic. It marks the first time that members of the DNC are actually playing a direct and significant role in shaping these slates. And actions like these are one step towards democratizing the DNC. And together we have the opportunity to ensure all voices are being heard in our party. Democracy is never simple and certainly cannot be accomplished alone. So I want to thank all of you for your time and participation on this weekend today. And I also just want to personally thank Chair Martin for the opportunity to do all of this. So before we begin, we will establish a quorum, which is 40% of the membership on this call or by proxy. We will determine the quorum by voting on Election Buddy, which is the same software that you have used for the vice chair vote that we held in June, and it's going to be the technology that we use all through today. I am now going to ask staff to give us an overview of that voting system.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Chair, and thank you for having us today. Folks should feel pretty comfortable with this because we had really successful votes cast and held in June. But just to give you a quick overview, you all have received an email. It looks exactly like this email here on the right side of the screen. In the email, you'll have your access key and your password. Your access key is your email that we have on file with you, and your password is a unique 4-digit PIN. To begin the voting process, you'll click the voting link in the email. You can also click the link that's been shared in the chat. The voting link will take you to the ballot page of Election Buddy, and all ballots for the whole meeting will appear on this page, which is a great thing about Election Buddy. You don't need to log out, log in, change tabs. If you keep this tab open, it'll keep populating. If you go to the next slide. So during an active vote, this is what the ballot page is going to look like. There'll be that big orange button there. You'll see here that it says test quorum vote. On your side, it'll say quorum vote. When you click into that button, it brings you to the ballot. The very first time you cast a vote, for this instance, it's the quorum vote, the system will ask you to log in with your unique access key, which is your email, and your password, your unique 4-digit PIN. If you keep the voting page open, as I mentioned, you only have to log in with your credentials once. But if you do get logged out, if you do exit out, don't worry, you can always log back in. So once you log in that first time, you'll be brought to the ballot page where you can make your selection. Once an option has been selected, the button on the right will turn blue, and then you'll go ahead and you'll click continue. So clicking continue does not cast your ballot. This is because Election Buddy allows folks to review their votes before we cast them. If you see any issues at all, you can go ahead and click edit. If not, click submit. And that's it. So the following page shows a confirmation code. This will pop up on your screen and you'll also get an email. Then you'll go ahead and click next vote. It'll go back to the balloting page and any live vote after that will appear there.
Thank you very much for that. Members, the ballot is now in your email and also in the Zoom chat. The ballot is going to remain open for 5 minutes as we establish quorum. If you are having any issues, please message election support in the chat if you have trouble accessing the ballot. Thank you. We'll be back shortly, and staff is going to give us a warning before the ballots close. Thanks.
Members, we have 2 minutes remaining. 2 minutes remaining. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, members. The quorum ballot is now closed, and I will have results for you momentarily. and a quorum was met. Members, the ballot is now closed. Quorum was met with 31. Thank you very much, members, for turning out. Now, before we get to the other business that all of the other councils or all the other caucuses have been doing, we have some of our own internal youth council business to attend to, which is filling the vacancy of vice chair. Which has been, if y'all have been paying attention, noticed for now about a year, and we're finally filling it. If there are any issues that come up in this part of the script, please do not blame staff because this following part was all me. Okay. First, we must handle our internal youth council election for the remainder of the term for vice chair, which goes until our August meeting when we have our council officer elections again. I will remind you that per our bylaws, the vice chair shall not be the same gender as our chair. Myself, I identify as a man, and must be a member of the youth council, meaning either an at-large member or a DNC member under the age of 36. Candidates were allowed to self-nominate beginning 30 days in advance, and nominations are accepted from the floor, unlike the rest of the elections that will be held today. At this time, the chair has received only one nomination for Steph Campagna-Wheaton. If there are no more nominations, we will be able to elect her without objection. However, first, the chair will now open nominations for vice chair. Please use the chat function if you wish to be recognized for a nomination for vice chair. Since this is not an in-person meeting and is via chat, I will give people a moment if anyone is typing. Okay, then with that, seeing no nominations or motions made from the chat, the chair will now close nominations. As there is only one candidate for Youth Council Vice Chair, I declare that Steph Campagna-Wheaton is now elected to serve the remainder of the term for Vice Chair. Thank you, everyone, and congratulations, Steph. Now we will move on to the proposed rules from Chair Martin and an overview for the rest of our agenda for today. Our first order of business, now that we're back on track, is to approve the proposed rules from Chair Martin for this advisory election that's going to govern the rest of today's elections. You have received the rules in the 7-day notice, in the 7-day meeting notice, and DNC staff will also put the rules in the chat. I will go over some of the key components of the process now. The window for nominations for the rest of the elections closed on June 30th, and nominations will not be accepted from the floor. Before each vote, you'll have a chance to hear from the candidates joining us today. Candidates have been afforded the opportunity to share 1-minute remarks ahead of each election. We will first elect our at-large DNC member. Then we will move into the standing committee elections in the following order: Credentials Committee, Resolutions Committee, then Rules and Bylaws Committee. In order to serve on a standing committee, an individual must be a member of the DNC. If a non-DNC member wins a standing committee election and does not secure an at-large seat, then the second highest vote getter will receive the nomination. As a reminder, these elections determine who will be added to Chair Martin's slates. No position is considered final until the full DNC membership meets in August to vote to elect the at-large nominees and ratify the standing committee appointments. Additionally, Chair Martin will not appoint an individual to more than one standing committee. Once a candidate has been nominated to a standing committee slate, they will be removed from future standing committee ballots. Proxy votes will be accepted. All proxies were required to be submitted to the Office of Secretary by Thursday, July 10th. No additional proxies or transfer of a proxy will be accepted at this time. We'll be utilizing a plurality system. The highest vote getter will win. If only one person is nominated for an office, then the chair can declare the nominee is elected by acclamation. In the case of a tie, an additional ballot will be conducted between the two candidates receiving the highest number of votes. We will now vote to approve the proposed rules from Chair Martins for the advisory election. The vote will be conducted exactly like the quorum vote. Please return to the voting page on your web browser or mobile device. The second vote will appear automatically. If you've been logged out of your voting account, don't worry. You can simply log back in by clicking the link in your email or the chat. Before we move to a vote, does anyone have any questions or concerns? please notify us in the chat. Okay, I am seeing no questions. The proposed rules from Chair Martin for advisory election vote is now open. You will have 5 minutes to cast your vote. Please message election support in the Zoom chat if you have trouble finding the email with your ballot. Thank you, and we will be back shortly after voting.
Members, there are 2 minutes remaining. 2 minutes remaining to cast your ballots.
Members, the ballot for the rules have now closed, and we will have the results for that momentarily. Okay, thank you, members. With 32.5 votes in favor, the rules have passed and 0 against. So the proposed rules from Chair Martin for the advisory election have been adopted. We will now move to the election for DNC member at large. As you may be aware, the DNC charter requires the full slate of at-large DNC members be gender balanced. Chair Martin has already nominated 60 members, and in order to complete his slate and maintain gender balance, each caucus was pre-designated a gender. We will now vote for the position of male or non-binary at-large DNC member. The following candidates have been nominated. Jack is a male candidate from Virginia. Cole Gabriel. Cole is a male candidate from Florida. Alex Hoffman. Alex is a male candidate from DC. Catherine Jeans. Catherine is a non-binary candidate from North Carolina. Cameron Landon. Cameron is a male candidate from Georgia. Devonte Lewis. Devonte is a male candidate from Louisiana. And Matthew Royer. Matthew is a male candidate from Virginia. Candidates have been afforded the opportunity to share 1-minute remarks. When a candidate's name is called, they will be unmuted and their 1 minute will begin. Once they have concluded their remarks, they will be muted again. We will begin first with Jack Dozier. Jack, your microphone has been unmuted and you are recognized to speak. Thank you.
Good evening and afternoon, everyone, and I hope you are well. My name is Jack. I'm 20 years old, and I was nominated by the incredible Sahali Vidula, VP of the CDA. Thank you for the opportunity to show you why I am the best fit for the next at-large member from the Youth Council. In short, I'm an organizer and researcher of young adults coming from a family of teachers, labor organizers, and veterans in rural Virginia. I've worked on 9 Democratic campaigns in and around my hometown, and in a feeling I'm sure is familiar, I'm always the youngest in the room. With you, I hope to be a collaborator and co-conspirator, elevating the voices of young adults because it is past time that we engage Gen Z within our party. Drawing on my experience of founding and running the largest public opinion project on young adults, and as a 20-year-old, I hope to build roads in which organizing and our party are cool again by effectively encouraging a synthesis local, regional, national, and social media. We have an opportunity that we cannot miss, and I hope to meet this moment with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Next, we will hear from Cole Gabriel. Cole, your microphone has been unmuted. Please begin.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cole Gabriel. I am a certified public accountant, small business owner, and the immediate past president of the Florida Young Democrats. For any organization to be most successful, it is critical to ensure we have the strongest foundation, and strengthening that is my commitment to you. At the end of the day, we have to prove regularly to our youth-focused organizations and every prospective and current member of our council that the DNC Youth Council is a critical part of ensuring youth voices are heard and made a key element of the Democratic Party platform. By creating a more defined orientation process for new members, building a central list of contacts of national youth-focused organizations and their state affiliates, and tracking and sharing the great work that all of you are doing, we'll be able to improve collaboration inside and outside of our council and get more young DNC members elected. Thank you all so much for your perspectives and your great conversations, and I hope that I can count on your vote.
Thank you, Cole. Next, we will hear from Alex Hoffman. Alex, your microphone has been unmuted. Please begin.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alex Hoffman. I grew up in New York City with a single mom who worked 2 jobs, all while she was battling addiction, just so we can make ends meet. I saw firsthand what it's like to rely on public schools, Medicaid, Pell Grants, and student loans just to get a shot. The party that fights for people like me and families like mine is the Democratic Party, and that's why I'm a Democrat. I've spent over a decade working inside and outside of the DNC, from college Democrats to DNC intern to chief of staff to the national finance chair. I'm a 26-year union member. I've built national campaigns, raised millions of dollars, and I know what it takes to win. I'll fight for a stronger youth council, one that brings real funding for youth voter programs, demands a seat at the table, and builds the next generation of leaders. I want to build a Democratic Party that doesn't just try to speak to young people. I want one that is led by young people. And I hope to have your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Next, we will hear from Catherine Jeans. Catherine, your microphone has been unmuted. Please begin. Catherine, you are unmuted on Zoom, but your microphone itself might be muted.
Can you hear me now? That's so embarrassing.
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Are we good to go now? Can I get my full 60 seconds?
Yes, absolutely.
God bless y'all. I appreciate it. Okay. Howdy, folks. For folks seeing me for the first time, I am Catherine Jeans. I use they, them pronouns. I am a steward for the North Carolina Dems unit of the Campaign Workers Guild. And I am from a little town called Kannapolis, North Carolina. I'm grateful to already know and have worked with so many of you as a member of this council since first being elected as an at-large member back in 2022 to serving a short 6 months through this year's officer elections as the interim DNC member for the Young Dems of America. It has been an honor and a privilege to organize with this group and shape the future of this party. The power of our members to make an impact on the committee was on display in National Harper when we elected 2 young national officers, but recent months have shown us that there is much work left to do to make sure that young people are not just heard, but listened to and understood. I am proud to have the support of the youngest chair in the country, Anderson Clayton, in this race, as well as the youngest executive director in the country, May Hanlon, as well as the former chair of this very council, the amazing Michael Kapp. I bring with me my 3 years of experience on this council, my experience as an advocate for Young Dems on and off this committee, as well as my unique experience as a member of staff for the North Carolina Dems, taking on the challenges of today's Democratic Party head on as my job every single day. I hope to earn your support in taking on the responsibility of this role.
Thank you, Catherine. Next, we will hear, Cameron Landon was unavailable to join this call, so we will not be hearing from him. And the next candidate would have been Devontae Lewis, who was also unable to join the call, so we will not be hearing from him either, which means now next in order, we are going to be hearing from Matthew Royer. Matthew, your microphone has been unmuted. Please begin.
Right now, with how people are reacting to the old guard in politics, it's critical we center youth voices in the Democratic Party. No more conversations about us without us. We need to modernize our messaging and tactics while working strategically with leadership. I've spent the last 10 years working in politics, from campaigns to digital agencies, and I've been active with the Young Dems for 9 years, serving as VAYD president on the DPVA steering committee and now as YDA chief of staff. Through my work at TargetSmart with the ASDC, I've built strong relationships with state party chairs across the country, which will help in building coalitions to pass rules changes and resolutions that empower young people. But youth participation needs to go beyond YDA. We need more young folks running for state parties and DNC roles, guaranteeing youth representation on state committees and real coordination with college campus organizers across the country. As a Southerner, I bring the insight from a bellwether state, having organized in rural areas deemed too red for Dems, and talking to voters face to face. I'm committed to uplifting lifting your voices in the DNC while collaborating with longtime leaders, and I'd be honored to earn your vote for Youth Council at Large. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. That now concludes nominating speeches for our candidates for DNC at-large member. The at-large member vote is now open. Please return to the voting page on your web browser or mobile device. The vote will appear automatically. If you've been logged out of your voting account, again, don't worry. You can log back in by clicking either the link in your email or in the chat. You'll have 5 minutes to cast your vote. Again, election support is here if you need it. Thank you, and we will be back shortly. Folks, there are just under 2 minutes remaining, just under 2 minutes to get your votes in. Thank you. Thank you, members. The ballots have now closed. Staff is tabulating the results, and we will be back with them momentarily. Thank you. And the vote tabulation will take just a moment to navigate proxies and things of that nature. Thank you very much, members, for your patience. We have the results, which I will read to you here. There were 33.5 votes cast, which is weighting accounting for Dems Abroad's candidates, and the results were as follows. Catherine Jeans, 14 votes. Matthew Royer, 12.5 votes. Jack Dozier, 3 votes. Cole Gabriel, 3 votes. Alex Hoffman, 1 vote. Devontae Lewis, 0 votes. Cameron Landon, 0 votes. Catherine Jeans has received the highest votes and has won. Congratulations, Catherine. We will now move on to the election for Credentials Committee member. Credentials Committee member election nominees, sorry, I completely tripped up on that part of the script. Let's take that from the top. Annika Crovey has been nominated for the Female Credentials Committee position. She is a female from South Carolina. This position is now uncontested because Stephanie Newton won an election from the Western Caucus. So congratulations, Stephanie. Annika, you still do have 1 minute to address the committee. And your microphone has been unmuted, but I will simply say it has been custom in these elections so far that when folks are uncontested, they do not use very much of that minute, but you do have that time. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, I will not take too much of y'all's time. I just want to say I'm so grateful to be here amongst friends on this beautiful Sunday. If we haven't met yet, I'm Annika. I'm honored to be nominated to be a representative on the Credentials Committee, having previously served as a DNC member and having just been renominated by Chair Martin to be an at-large member moving forward. I'm excited by the opportunity to represent the Youth Council in this way, and I think we all know that it's important that we're making sure young people are actually represented in the spaces that matter, including at our convention moving forward. I'm committed to doing that work with all of you, and I'm ready to get going. So thanks for your consideration.
Thank you. The deadline for nominations for this position was June 30th. At that time, we have now received 1 nomination pursuant to Rule 2A. Annika Crovey is elected by acclamation. Congratulations. You are the Youth Council's female representative on Chair Martin's Credentials Committee slate. We will now move on to Resolutions Committee member election. The following candidates have been nominated for the Male Resolutions Committee position. Ben Hackett. Ben is a male DNC member from Minnesota, and Daniel Henry. Daniel is a male DNC member from Florida. Candidates have been afforded the opportunity to share 1-minute remarks. Speaking order was determined alphabetically. However, Ben is unable to attend the call and is attending via proxy. So we will the only person that will be here speaking today will be Daniel Henry. Daniel, your microphone has been unmuted. Please begin.
Hi, everyone. My name is Daniel Henry, and I have the honor of serving as first vice chair for the Florida Democratic Party. And I'm asking for your vote to be on the DNC Resolutions Committee. When I first got involved into politics, I started my local Young Dems chapter, and I really used it as an opportunity for me to really speak, not only for young people, but for diverse communities. And with that help, I've been able to not only become a county party chair, but also a vice chair in my state party. But I think these positions are not just for collecting titles, they're for doing work. So I've spent that time making sure that we diversify our state party. That has allowed us to be able to elect Gen Z members as DNC members, to make sure that we're bringing more young voices to the table. And that's what I would try to do on the DNC Resolutions Committee. So I hope I can count on your vote, and I appreciate your support.
Thank you very much, Daniel. That concludes all nominating speeches for our candidates for DNC Resolutions Committee. The Resolutions Committee member vote is now open. Please return to the voting page on your web browser or mobile device. The vote will appear automatically. If you've been logged out of your voting account, don't worry. Again, you can log back in by clicking either the link in your email or in the chat. And of course, election support is here to help you. You have 5 minutes to cast your vote. Thank you, and we will be back shortly.
There are 2 minutes remaining, 2 minutes to cast your ballots.
All right, thank you, everybody. The ballot is now closed, and we will have the total for you momentarily. Okay, members, we have the results. For the Youth Council nominee for the, sorry, this one was Resolutions Committee. The total ballots cast were 29.5. Ben Hackett received 19.5 votes. Daniel Henry received 10 votes. Ben has received the most votes and has won. Congratulations, Ben, though you are not here to hear this, on being the nominee from Youth Council. We'll now move to the Rules and Bylaws Committee member election. The following candidates have been nominated for any Gender Rules and Bylaws Committee position. Myself, Andre Triber, a DNC member from Texas. This is an uncontested position as well, and you have heard from me for significantly more than 1 minute. So I will not use that 1 minute to address the committee other than saying thank you, everyone. The deadline for nominations for this position was June 30th. At that time, we received 1 nomination. Pursuant to Rule 2A, Andre Triber is elected by acclamation. And that is it for our business today. Members, we have concluded any business that the Youth Council will conduct. Congratulations to those elected to Chair Martin's at-large and standing committee slates. Your service is appreciated and essential to the work ahead. I am going slightly off script here, but I do not need to remind you how big of a deal it is that we are going from no young members on committees to now we have several on each committee. And we are growing basically 50% in size. And this is thanks in huge part to Chair Martin. So thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all members today for your meaningful participation in this process. Today's meeting was one step forward in our continued efforts to build a more inclusive and representative Democratic Party. And I look forward to seeing everyone in Minneapolis for the August DNC meeting. And so without objection, this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you, everyone.